they are registered valuers under the Valuer Act, and they are registered practitioners who are practicing in the area. You will be required to, he will be visiting your property, he will see the municipal record, he will compare the rent, he will compare the rent of the adjoining premises, he will make inquiries, and he will see, determine what is the age of the building, which is the location of the building, whether it is close to a station, whether it's close to school, colleges, in the main road or not, what amount it will fetch per month if it is given to. He will prepare a report along with his plan that he will submit before the court. That is called ascertainment of the mean profit under Order 20 Rule 12C. When you submit your application along with this report, that you will be required to examine him as a witness. The court will issue notice upon the other side. This will be heard in the same manner as if the court is hearing a suit. Of course, it will be expeditiously done. The court will ask the other side to file your written submission opposing the application. Then both the parties are given opportunity to examine their witnesses. Then in the proceedings with regard to inspection, interrogatories, they all may apply again here. So expeditiously they may apply. Then before the ascertainment here under Order 21 Rule 42, if you are an intelligent plaintiff, what you should do? Attach the property of the judgment debtor. Because the judgment debtor has already suffered a decree for eviction, he will run away and go. So what you can attach? The other properties, if any, if he is in possession. He may be having a shop conducting his business, or he may be having a godown. Please get it attached. Why? Otherwise, he knows, having been evicted, he will be required to pay huge mean profit. He will try to run away from the jurisdiction of the court. He will run away. He will disappear. So get the property in his possession attached by invoking the provisions of Order 21, Rule 42 of the Code of Civil Procedure. Okay, that is the meaning here. Then attachment is also done under Order 21, Rule 43, attachment of movable property against the judgment debtor's actual seizure. Then 2141 may be attachment of agricultural produce is done here. Order 21, Rule 44 has to be read along with Section 61 of the CPC, where there are certain exemption granted and to what extent the government of the state will permit the execution. That is Section 61. Order 61 to be read with Order 21 Rule 44. Then Order 21 Rule 46 permits you to attachment of the attachment and share of a property in the hands of third parties. That is a garnishee, which I will tell. Then Order 21 Rule 47, we told you, permits attachment of share in the immovable property of joint ownership with others. You may be holding property. Judgment debtor must be holding property along with brothers and sisters, having 1/3 share or 1/10 share, 1/5 share. So when you're a decree holder, you attach his properties. Attachment under 2147. Then 2148 speaks of attachment of the salary allowances of the employees. To what extent that will be done under Section 60, we'll come to know. Then Order 21 Rule 48A, attachment of the salary, again to what extent, I will tell you that here. 2149, attachment of the partnership property. Then 2151, attachment of the negotiable instruments, which can be done. 2152, attachment of the property in the custody of public officers, giving notice to in that regard here. Then I mentioned to you that here the property may be in the hands of the custody of the court. The court receiver may be in possession under Order 40 Rule 1 or under Section 94. The property can be attached if the defendant property is there. Then attachment of the decrees under Order 21 Rule 53. Please note that if the judgment debtor has obtained some valuable decree against Mr. B in the Delhi court or in Bangalore court, you are in Bombay, he owes you money, and you want to realize the money, you can attach the decrees under which he is entitled to money under Order 21 Rule 53. Then under 2154, attachment of the immovable property of judgment debtor from transferring of creating a charge. Okay, these are the various provisions for attachment. Then Order 2156 deal with attachment of coins, currency notes of the party which is entitled decree. These are all the various provisions with regard to attachment under section. Now, today we'll now deal with section 60, which tells you what properties can be attached and what is the extent of exemption in respect to the property which cannot be attached. Kindly open up your section 60. Yeah, kindly open up section 60. This is a very lengthy section and very, very valuable, very useful, not only from the practical point of view, from the student point of view, and also practice point of view. You should know as a young lawyer. Now, yes. I am coming to section 60. Please open section 61, see if you don't mind. Yeah. Yeah. Section 60 declares what properties are liable to attachment and sale in execution of a decree and what properties are exempted from attachment. Now, subsection 1 of section 60 specifies the properties which can be attached and sold in execution and decree, whereas the proviso clarifies the properties covered by clause A to P shall not be liable for attachment or sale. Attachment or sale, that we'll deal with now. Now let us first deal with subsection 1 belonging to judgment debtor. Now what are the properties which are liable? Now, number 1, they are, now see, subsection 1 of section 60 makes all saleable property, movable or immovable, belonging to judgment debtor, which he has disposing power. Please note that, which he has disposing power and which are liable to be attached and sold in execution. Number one, land, it speaks of land. Number 2, houses. Number 3, other buildings. See, land, houses, buildings. Then number 3, then speaks of goods, money, bank notes, then speaks of checks, it speaks of bill of exchange, hundis, promissory notes. Okay, these are the items. Then next, then there are government securities, bonds or other securities, then debts, shares in a corporation. These are the properties mentioned in section 60 now. Section 60. Now I will be elaborating this particular section by citing you some necessary judgment. Number 1, what is mandatory, that what is here? The judgment debtor must be having power, must be having a saleable interest in the property. He is either is a owner of the property or a saleable interest property. Now, a matter of this nature came up for consideration before the Supreme Court in a matter under the provisions of Maharashtra Ownership Flat Act, Societies Act, and a section under the provisions of the MOFA. You know that in Bombay city, we have flats mostly in a cooperative housing society, where the cooperative housing society is supposed to be the owner and the member has a occupancy right, so he is a member. Many times the societies say that you cannot sell the flat without our permission, isn't it? Now, one such matter came up for consideration before the court in the case of Ramesh Himmatlal Shah versus Harshuk Zadoji Joshi, reported in AIR 1975 Supreme Court, page number 1470. Now here, the proposition, the judgment debtor against whom the decree was passed in the City Civil Court, Bombay, his flat was attached by the decree holder. His flat was situated in a Paresh Cooperative Housing Society, Podar Road, Santa Cruz. Now the judgment debtor at the time was in jail in Gujarat. His brother filed the application that I am the real owner, my brother is merely a benamidar. That his contention was that here, the flat in a cooperative housing society cannot be attached. Because it is not the property of the judgment debtor, it is a flat situated there, and more or less I am the real owner and he was merely a benamidar. His application was more or less dismissed. Thereafter, the judgment debtor was released from the jail. He also again played a second inning. He made the application to the executing court that the attachment which has been levied to the flat may kindly be raised. Attachment be removed. Or inter alia, the contention was that the flat doesn't belong to him. It is the ownership flat belonging to the society. Under the Societies Act, society is the owner. Now, when you see the provisions of Section 29 of the Societies Act, under Societies Act, a member cannot purchase the property or sell the property without the permission of the society. That is Section 29. And under Section 31, there is a charge is created. See that? Section 29 mil gaya aapko?
Sir, of Maharashtra or Central?
Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act, 1960. I will just take out the act. Give me 1 minute. I will take out the act. Please give me 1 minute. Yeah, are you in a position to lay your hand? Restriction of the transfer or charge of share of the interest, isn't it? Under Section 29, there is a restriction. A member shall not transfer any share held by him or his interest in the capital or a property of a society or any part thereof. Section 29, subclause 2. Isn't it? So if you take into consideration Section 29(2), the argument advanced by the judgment debtor was that the defendant judgment debtor has no saleable interest in the property. So the flat cannot be attached. Now, reliance was also placed upon Section 31. Kindly see that Section 31. 31 says that here, shares or interests are not liable for attachment. See, shares or interests are not liable for attachment. So when the principal contention is that society is the owner of the property and member is merely an occupier, he has no right title interest, and as such, shares are not liable for attachment. Then another contention was taken was under Section 47. Under Section 47, society has prior claim over this property. And no charge can be created. And subsection 2 says, no property or interest in the property which is subject to a charge under the foregoing section shall be transferred in any manner without the previous permission of the society, and such a transfer shall be subject to condition, if any, and many further. Transfer made in contravention shall be void. See, under subsection 3 of Section 47, any transfer made by a member in respect of his flat or shares, that shall be void. And section 47, if a contravention takes place, is a punishable offense under section 146 of the Societies Act. Now, if you kindly see section 146, it is made punishable. It is an offense. See, section 146(1), it shall be an offense under this act if any member of the society transfers any property or interest in the property in contravention of subsection 2 of section 47, or any person knowingly acquires, abets in the acquisition of such a property. Interesting, this application was made before the trial court. The trial court did not agree with this contention. For some reason, the trial court felt that here the member has occupancy rights, and the member is entitled to sell this property. It cannot be attached. Then the matter went to the High Court. The decree holder, whose execution application was stayed, naturally he rushes to the High Court. He filed an appeal under the provisions of Order 43, or maybe he must have gone in revision to the High Court. The Bombay High Court, fortunately for the judgment, for the decree holder, for the judgment debtor, stayed the execution once again, inter alia, holding that the trial court was not correct, and the trial court has not correctly appreciated the provisions of section 29, section 31, as well as section 47, and also judgment of the Bombay High Court of Justice Vima Dalal, which was given in the year 1972, which clearly says that here, so the society is the absolute owner of the flat, and the member has no saleable interest, and as such the flat cannot be attached. So after this, the execution came to a standstill. The decree holder left with no other alternative. The decree holder has to move the Supreme Court under Article 136 of the Constitution before the Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court, the bench of the Supreme Court, the three-bench judgment of Justice Aligra Swamy, Justice Bhagwati, and Justice Goswami, they very minutely examine the scheme of the act. Very minutely examine. Justice Goswami, while discussing the provisions of section 29 and 31, what he has to say in paragraph number 17, you kindly see that, please. Paragraph number 17, the Supreme Court says, there is no absolute prohibition in the act or in the rule or in the bylaws against the transfer of the interest of a member of the property belonging to the society. Okay, paragraph 17. The only transfer which is void under Act is one made in contravention of subsection 2 of 47. We have not been able to find any other provision anywhere to that effect and the scheme of the Act. Now, then in the concluding paragraph of the same paragraph under 17, the Supreme Court says, it is admitted that the flat is owned by society and the judgment debtor has a right and interest to occupy the property. And now, what right to occupy the property the Supreme Court says in paragraph number 17, kindly see, in the middle of paragraph number 17, there is nothing in the language of section 31 to indicate that the right to occupancy, which is a right to be sold in auction, is not attachable in execution of a decree. There is nothing in section 31 even remotely to include a prohibition against attachment of sale of the aforesaid right. So it is now decided by the Supreme Court that a flat in the occupation of a member of a cooperative housing society has a saleable interest, and the flat can be attached in execution of sale. Okay, the judgment of the Bombay High Court earlier given by the benches were overruled now in the matter. Now this is the law of the land. Please remember that this will come straight away in section 60 of the Code of Civil Procedure. This is one of the, when I said that here, the judgment debtor must have a saleable interest in the property. Okay. Now,
Sir, sorry to interrupt. 8 minutes are left.
8 minutes. Anybody has any questions so far? Please ask me. Anybody has any question?
Sir, Ojas here. Sir, my question is that if the property is attached and it is in the custody of court or public officer, and if it is lost due to their negligence, then what is the remedy for that?
Then they are your trustees. A trustee cannot misappropriate. You have a right to file a suit against them for recovery of damages on your property. Court receiver cannot attach. Bailiff cannot misappropriate your property. That your remedy is different. That your remedy will be for misappropriation and for claiming damages. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Now,
Thank you.
let us come back to now section 60. Now, we have learned here so many properties here. Sectors. Yeah. Now, next, these are the properties. Then I will give you a judgment of the court. Now, let us see provisions to the proviso to section 60. Please come to the proviso. The following properties are not liable to attachment or sale. Now, which properties cannot be attached? I have given you the number 1. All necessary wearing apparels. पहनने की चीज कानों में. Cooking vessels, number 2. Number 3 speaks of beddings, beds and beddings of judgment debtor, his wife, children. Then personal ornaments such as Mangal Sutra, a neck ornament usually worn by a Hindu woman during the lifetime of her husband, as per the customs and usages in accordance with the religious usages, cannot be parted with. So you cannot say that here Mangal Sutra and beddings cannot be. This is with a view to see that here the judgment debtor does not suffer any hardship in the matter. See, the general policy underlying the exceptions is in section 60 seems to indicate that the anxiety on the part of the legislature to ensure certain basic minimum income and property to the judgment debtor. That is why it is there. Now let us see here. Tools ke baad, then clause number B of the proviso speaks of that here item number, yeah. Then number T, tools of the artisans. Now, what further cannot be attached? Kindly see item number B, tools of the artisan. I mean, somebody who is a artisan, mean maybe an engineer, maybe he may be a technician, he may be an electrician, he may be a tailor. You cannot attach a sewing machine. You cannot attach the instruments of a technician. Then where the judgment debtor is an agriculturalist, his implements of husbandry mean, you know that here, breeding of crops and animals, for care and cultivation of the animals is called husbandry. Those items cannot be attached. Then at the same time, his cattle, which are all for livelihood, necessary for the survival, bare necessity items cannot be attached. Then portion of the agricultural produce, see, of any of the class of the agricultural produce as may have been decreed to be from the liability under the provisions of section 61. You know that here agricultural produce to some extent can be attached, which you learned under the provisions of the CPC right now. Now section 61 lays down that the government, each government, state government can make a state government can mandate by notification in the official gazette the extent to the extent granting exemption to agricultural produce which is sought to be attached. Then clause C of the proviso to section 60 exempts attachment and sale of houses and other buildings. Kindly see that, houses and other buildings with materials and sites thereof. This is belonging to agriculture. The land immediately appurtenant thereto. I will under thereto, and necessary for the enjoyment belonging of the agriculturalist or laborer or a domestic servant. See, the houses of agriculturalists, where in occupation laborers and domestic servants are exempted. This exemption came applicable with regard to laborer and domestic servant from the year 1977 amendment. Now the question before the courts is sometime when attachment is done, whether all agriculturalists are exempted. Now you know that in our country, almost all ministers, film actors and rich people are agriculturalists. Can they claim their property cannot be attached? That is not so. It is only the premises and property and husbandry and tools of small-time agriculturalists. They are exempted from attachment, and not people who are landlords, not the agriculturalists who having several acres of land, who engages laborers to do the work and earning a source of income from various sources. Now, one such matter came up before the Supreme Court, whether a rich farmer who is having several tons of acres of land and engaging laborers and earning a substantial amount, can he say that my property cannot be attached? Now that came up before the Supreme Court in a case that is called Appa Saheb versus Balchandra, AIR 1961 Supreme Court. AIR 1961 Supreme Court, page number 589. Now, in this case,
So
the
please
land,
name again.
pardon?
So what's the name
Appa
of the case, sir?
Appa Saheb, Appa, A-double-P-A, Appa Saheb versus Balchandra. AIR 1961 Supreme Court, page number 589. Yeah, before I go into the facts of this case, anybody has any questions? How many minutes Mansi left out now?
1 minute, sir.
Anybody has any question, please let me know before I take up this judgment.
So I'm just generally curious to know, what if a person does not have any immovable property and only these properties which are listed here are in his possession and he is the owner of them? So
Yes,
then, sir,
if they are-
isn't this unfair for the legislation to not attach these properties?
the court will see whether these properties are sufficient to meet his basic necessities or whether he has substantial income apart from the other things. And if he doesn't have income, he is having only say 1 or 2 bullock carts and bulls, or maybe small apparatus, or maybe a small tractor and a small land, maybe half acre or 10 bigas, that may not be attached if his income is substantially. He himself must be cultivating. The condition precedent in that year, the agriculturalist, he must be cultivating on his own. He cannot say that, yeah, I am supervising, there are 10 laborers working for me, he cannot take the benefit. The object is